Alright guys, welcome to a small video I'm gonna do here about InkScape. One of my friends on Facebook told me that she's having a hard time with InkScape because she kinda don't get how it works and everything. So I thought I would do a small video, and plus I got another friend on Facebook that told me that I could do a propaganda image of Eve Online with flies or something. So I thought like, yeah, I could do a video about me doing that thing, and I could talk about how I work with Inkscape, what I'm doing, drawing. So that when you open the window, it should look something like that. So first thing you want to do, you want to get rid of that. Maybe not, but it's kind of, well, you can get rid of it. You just come here, and in this window here, don't worry, there's going to be some kind of bug, graphical bug thing. It's my encoder that does that. So you can here in display, there's show page border. You can just uncheck this and whoop, but what I'm doing here. Okay, so I'm just here. You can see, or maybe you can. Yeah, here there's nothing else. I'm telling you, there's nothing else. So you can close this. So then you're gonna need a few tools. You're gonna have to open this thing here. So you have your bar here. So there's a edit object thing. You're gonna need to open this. It's called a fill and stroke thing. You're gonna need, yeah, you can need that. Well, maybe not. Well, maybe I'll need it later. And layers, that's always cool. Okay, it's been a while I've not used this thing. So that might come in. That might be interesting. So with that open here, you can resize those things, of course, so they're not in your way. But you're gonna need those. And here, well, you got basic colors, but you can go check. You can go pick colors here. So when you're doing Inkscape stuff, the thing you need to do in those icons here, you need to take this thing here, this tool. It's the Bezier curve creator. So we're gonna take this, and now you have this pencil thing. So rather than drawing a line, I'm using a mouse right now, not a tablet or not a, I don't know what else you guys use, but I'm using just my mouse here. So rather than drawing a shape, I'm gonna make it a shape. So in my head, I'm gonna make a background first. I'm in layer 1 right now, so I'm gonna just make a basic background. Actually, for the background, I'm gonna use this tool here. This allows me to make squares, rectangles. So I'm just gonna make a square like this. It gives it a random color, but of course you can change that. Yeah, now the thing changed quite a bit. So we're gonna rename this layer here. We're gonna call it background. So we know that this thing here is background. So when you have a layer, you can hide it and you can lock it. When it's locked, you cannot do anything with it. So when you unlock, you can play with it and everything. So we have our background here. It's for now it's blue, and if you want to change it, you can. So yeah, now we've created like an object. There's an object in my picture. So when there's an object, I can use the cursor mouse here. So with this I can select. So once you selected something, you can move it around. You can play with it. You can play with the size and shapes, but that's just a rectangle. You cannot make something else out of this rectangle. It's a rectangle, it will stay a rectangle. You can play with the color here. What I like to do is to use this here, because that's red, green, blue. That's how like computer like pixels works. But I'm gonna do something like, I'm gonna use this feature here, because here I have the spectrum of light, so we can have some fancy rainbow stuff here. Here, that's the how do you call it? And it's the it's how like colorful the thing is. So if you want gray, you can just put it there. So it's more, I don't know what you call it in English, but change that. So if I have this here, can have a kind of a red, but it's kind of gray. So I can play with that, and I can play with the light. So all the way over here, this is white. All the way down there, this is black. So you can have something dark that is full color, and you make it blue, or you can something have this, but you give it a shade of gray, no pun intended here, and you give it like something pink like that. For now, we're just gonna leave it a blue, standard blue standard hue, and this is the transparency feature. So you can play, and which is what is great about that is that it gives you the hexadecimal code, so you can play with that, and you can have some fun with this too. So and here you can change the blur and the opacity. So there's this thing here, but is this the opacity of the shape? Yeah, you can play with those things. So now this is the background. So we're gonna make a first another layer, which is gonna be so we're talking about. So the picture that I'm trying to do is basically a propaganda picture that features flies, and they need to do something that shows them that they're kind of being safe about flying. So because it's fly safe, it's an EVE Online thing. So fly safe. So what I had in mind, it would be to like avoid like dangerous things, or like the first drawing that I'm gonna do is probably fly in group. So I'm gonna have a first background that's gonna be, I'm gonna call it small flies. Small flies, and here, well, you have this you can change, and you can change all of that. So I have a background. This one I won't touch it for now, so I can lock it. So I don't change something without like, well, if I don't want to. In here, gonna select small fly. So now when I'm drawing in this, I'm gonna just affect this one. So since I'm not really good at drawing, I'm gonna I'm gonna just do, fly in a card, every cartoonish fly, maybe just maybe round, maybe like bullets. So here, well, the thing is that this guy here that I just created is the same color of the background. So if I hide the background, you can see here I have my shape. But for now, I'm just gonna, well, I want it black. So with the lighting here, I can just drop it. I hope the picture is great for you. I don't know how the encoder works and everything. Well, I kind of know, but I don't know like if it's gonna give me something great. So here, these are special tools to make a square. This you can make kind of like 3D things. It's kind of weird. I've tried it a bit. You can fiddle around with that. I haven't touched it much, but it's a thing. There's a lot of other features around here and there. So here, that's a thing to make circles. But like if you use this here, so the circle, you can grab this and make it like a Pac-Man thing. So you can decide if you want to have like a half circle, or and if you change that and you want to have a full circle again, I think you can go and you can do this, and you can go like in object properties. No, that's not it. That's a bit too complicated for what I want. I can set, I know, oh yeah, here. Here you have a bar. So let's say I have nothing selected. It's gonna be this thing here. And so with this I can select items. So once this is selected, well, now I can rotate the shape that I have, and now, well, I can see that my circle is not fully round. I can mirror it in this side, mirror it on this side. It's not really like obvious because I'm just using a little circle here, but and here you change the this is the right. You can move the thing around within its layer. You can choose if it's gonna go in front of other images or under other images. You have a bunch of hotkeys too. So here you can manually set the position. Um, that's the width. So let's say if you want to scale this up, because here if you move like that, you can move it in all the ways. So you can make it ugly. So if you have like something like this and you want to scale it up but don't want to change the proportions, you can lock this thing here because you have width and height here, so you can set those. So since I'm making a circle, I'm gonna put this one equal as the other one, 260. I think this is in pixels. So now I have a full circle. So I have, oh wait, no, I'm gonna Control Z this. Since it's locked, it's gonna keep the same proportion as this one. I don't want this. So I'm gonna change 260 here, and now I'm gonna lock it. So when I scale up, I cannot, so it always keeps its proportion. So that's like the select mode. It changes some things, but then on the nodes of the thing here, because yeah, so when you select your shape with this, you affect the nodes of the objects. Since this is a circle, it has a height, a width, and it has a radius here. So I don't remember where it is. Where is it? But there's a way to reset when you got a circle. And I know you can reset the angular thing object. Path. No, there's a lot of thing here. There's a lot of interesting thing here you can do in paths. You can play. You can fiddle around with that. You can save a lot of time by using those. Those are cool as well. Um, Layer view. No. Okay. So where is this thing? What does it? Does this move something on my picture? I know there's a thing that changes, but I don't know what is it exactly. Is it something here? Show clipping, show mask. It's been a while it's been a while since I've used that. Um, so I'm kind of fiddling around the thing. Well, I'm not gonna lose your time with this, but there's a way to to manually set the rhythm of this circle. So since it's just a circle, I'm gonna delete it, and I'm just gonna make a new one. Are you kidding right? Are you kidding me right now? Like, oh, here it is. Well, thank you. So when you create this thing here, so I guess if you have this guy selected and you click on the circle thing, now um, you have more settings specific to him because he's a circle. It's not like a normal shape that you do with those things. I'll show you how it works with this thing. So I'll fiddle around with this so I can play with the angle here, automatically. See here what it does, and that's a feature here that you can change. So you can have like a Pac-Man mouth here. So you can see my cursor. When I'm inside, it does this straight line, but if I'm going outside, it does the other thing. So it's a shortcut from this and this. And here, make the shape as a whole ellipse, not arc or segment. So that's the way to reset it. Okay, cool. So now that I've fiddled with that around, I'm gonna unlock this thing. I'm gonna put this one to 600 to have a full circle. Lock. I'm gonna make it smaller because I'm gonna have a bunch of flies. Maybe I can have this and have more to my fly and maybe have proportions. So right now I'm just fiddling around with the thing. So yeah, now I'm just not gonna make a full a little thing here. So I'm gonna try actually. So that's a way to make circles. I might use this one as the head of my fly. This is the head. I can make ovals with this thing, but I'll try using the actual thing. So you click here, and then let's say I'm gonna create here. You can create your shapes wherever you want. You can move them. You can move them because all the things that you create there are objects, so you can move them. You can play around with them. You can copy paste them. So that's kind of cool. So I'm gonna create a first node here. So with the node, so basically what it does, this is my first like summit of my shape. So I can make like, let's say I'm not gonna keep this shape, but I can fiddle around with the points here. So and at the end you need to relink it. So now you can see that I have a shape that I've created on my own. Right now it has no it just has a border around here, so I'm gonna add a fill. So that this is why we're using this right now. So I'm gonna toggle this, and as soon as I've toggled this, it added color inside it. That's no fill. Stroke, you can play around with the stroke. Here, just remove the stroke. I don't think I'm gonna use it. Maybe I could. Yeah, I might want to. I might want to add a gray border to my flies, and here the stroke style, I'm gonna make this thing a bit wider. I'm gonna make the filling a bit wider, like that's in pixels. You can change here pixel, centimeter, meter, inch. So that's in pixels, and I think that's just a great tool because we're in pixels anyway on this screen. So I'm gonna put something like 5 pixels. Yeah, that's not cartoonish enough. I'm gonna put 10. Yeah, that's more like it. And you can play around with the corners. Like you can have arc corners. You can have this. If it ends somewhere, it can be round. You can play around with that. So I'm not gonna keep this shape because this is so. Before delete this one, so you can here I can play around with it. If it's the thing is locked here, I can scale it down. I can move it like this. Yeah, that's gonna change the thing, but it's really like that. You can, if you wanna rotate the thing, if you have it selected, you click it, and now you can make kind of like shape like this. You can turn it like this. And the thing that I don't feel around, you can see this little cross thing here. If I move it here and I turn it, you can see that now my shape, when I turn it, it turns around this point. And I'm pretty sure, yeah. So all of these functions here works with the crosshair thing here. So you can have this here now, rather than turning around this point here, it's gonna turn around here because that's where my crosshair is. And if you want to come back, well, you just click it again. So I'm not gonna keep this guy, so I'm gonna delete it. You can Control Z. You can yeah, undo, redo, and I'll do all the things that you want. So I'm gonna make a body for my fly here. Oh wait, is this thing still on the screen? I hope it ain't. I hope this is just my encoder. So I'm gonna do like an oval thing. So I'm gonna make a point here. I'm making a point here, and I'm coming back. So now, well, you can see that I have a straight line, but look at this. I'm gonna grab this here. So I'm gonna edit the path. So I'm gonna pull on the lines around it to make it, to give it volume, and then I'm gonna give it a fill. Here you go. So now that I have this, I can fiddle around. I can make this longer, and I can zoom with, if you hold Control. Yeah, if you hold Control and you scroll, well, you can zoom in, zoom out, and you can go up and down with the scroll. If you hold Shift, you go sideways like this. So when you're used to it, well, you can play around your image quite fast and not having to rely on those scrolling bars here. Like sometimes if you're like this bar will be of no use. I don't know why. So that's why you want to play around with it, because when you're like this, it considers that you are in the center of your image. But if you want to go here and create something else here, well, you can do it with Shift, Alt Shift, and then you play around with it. So I'm gonna select this thing again. I'm gonna zoom on it, and I'm gonna bring it closer to my head here. So yeah, so this is not looking like a fly at all. Not yet. Yeah, this guy I'm gonna, so I just selected the head. The head I'm gonna give it a stroke paint, like I said. Stroke paint, and here I'm gonna give it 10. Yeah, maybe that's a bit too pale. I'm gonna try this, and we'll see what happens. Or maybe I can just forget this and have a yeah, for now I'm just gonna leave it like this. And it's funny because if you want to change something, if later on I want to add if I want to add something to it later, I can do it easily and rapid and quickly. rapidly. What is this thing? Me and my French. So yeah, so the thing is like you can I just took two simple shapes and I've merged them together. So I create this kind of illusion. And let's say if this guy would be of a different color, not the stroke, I'm gonna kill the stroke here. So if the fill was different, you could have it on top, but look at this. I'm gonna press page down and it kind of goes underneath. So I can play with that too. So maybe I can have a black head and a kind of a dark gray thing. Maybe this could go on top. No, it makes more sense like this, I think. So that's my fly. Maybe it's a bit long for a fly, so I can always not shrink it up. I can play with the. Whoa, whoa, whoa! What is this? What is this? Okay. What's going on with my mouse right now? Hold on, guys. My mouse is not collaborating with me right now. Okay. Wait, what is this? No. Stop it. Is it my encoder that does that? My mouse is not. Okay, we're good. I think we're good. Yeah. So I'm gonna select this guy here. I have the edit path or node. So those are the nodes, and the lines are paths. So I'm gonna move around like this. Gonna go down. So I said this thing was a bit long for fly, so I'm just gonna grab this and move it down like this. And well, right now it looks kind of chubby, so I kind of like this chubby flies because chubby. So yeah, those nodes, if I want to select both of them, I can. And yeah, with this, so I can change the line here by playing with those lines here, and like you can make those two things like equal kind of. You can play a lot with that, and you can manually set the sizes and shapes. And so let's say we can have this. So that's the body, that's the head, and what we'll need right now are wings. So basically, wings are gonna be a bit like this, point, and kind of a body here. So I'm just gonna copy, I'm gonna paste, and now I'm gonna switch it a bit like this. I'm gonna um, I'm gonna scale the thing down a bit. I'm gonna make it slimmer. I'm gonna have this, and I'm gonna change the color here. I'm gonna make it white, but it's a bit trend. Those wings are bluish. I'm gonna give it a blue tint. Here the light, I'm gonna drop it. I'm gonna give it a bit of tint. So the background is gonna change, but so now I have a kind of a transparent wing. So I can play around with it. I can. Oh, also, if you want to create nodes, you can. You just mouse over the line, you double click. Now you've created a link here, and you see here, remember that thing here? So when you're in node mode here, you can create, let's say, if you have this node here, there's different types of nodes. So let's say this node, I don't want it to be roundish. I can click on this, double click and click again, and now I have an angle. And now with the angle, you kind of don't have like those vector thing because it's a straight line. So I can play around with those. I'm not going to do that, but it's a thing that you can do. So I'm just going to leave it like this. Maybe I want to mirror it. Maybe it's going to make more sense if I mirror it like this. So that's one wing. I'm going to make the other one out of the same. This one I'm going to mirror. I'm gonna rotate. I'm gonna put it like this. So, alright. So this is David's. This is Fusion Dax. This is a fly by Fusion Dax. That's the first. That's the first idea. Maybe the head is a bit too big. Too big. so I can make it smaller. Was this it? This was locked. Okay, so a head, a little wings here. So now this guy I want to keep it. So oh yeah, and if you wanna, here I kind of move this thing alone, so I can grab a bunch of them and move the old thing and turn the old thing. I can scale up the old thing. I can control, if you press Control and G and G, yeah G, and because in French it's different. Control and G. Now you have a single, so you don't have to drag all the pieces all again. You just need to drag one of the pieces, and now the whole thing will come with it. And you can undo those things. You can right click, and then you is this it? Object property. I don't think this is that. This is kind of not what we want. I'm pretty sure there's a way to. Oh no, the mouse is. Mouse, don't do this. Don't do this to me. No mouse. Yeah, you can come here. So, if you have this tool here, you can come. You can play around with the single things, but you cannot move them. This, you're editing the nodes and the lines around it, but you cannot move the whole thing. I'm trying. Mouse, don't do this, mouse. I've bought a new mouse, a kind of a gaming mouse. It was kind of quite expensive. Well, it's the first time. I can still blame the encoder for doing this thing to me. So I have this here. Paint is undefined, yeah, because this is a group. So the groups you can do here, group. That's the thing. So I'm gonna ungroup. So now I have all the separate things again. So that's just a short key, Control G to group, and then you can come to objects. You can ungroup. So now I'm gonna leave it like this because as a group, this is a fly, so I can zoom out. So we'll leave this one like this here for now. I'm gonna lock the layer so I don't fiddle around with it. I'm gonna unlock the background. I'm gonna scale it up a bit, maybe make it higher, and I'm gonna change the color. So I kind of want this to be like in a house, kind of. So I'm gonna give it a house color thing. Yeah, if that's a thing. So maybe the background could be this, or it could be something. Maybe not. Maybe it could be in space because this is EVE Online. So we could do like flies in space, but doesn't make sense. Yeah. I'm gonna leave it blue for now. So here you see I cannot play with this one. Like this thing here, those two layers, when I'm in this layer, when I create objects in this layer, I'm gonna create object for this one. So when it hides, it only hides for this thing, and I can hide my fly here. Um, so and yeah, that's a thing that when you're gonna start, you're gonna fiddle around. Well, you're gonna struggle with it because you're always gonna forget if you're not used to layers in programs like this. Well, it's the same thing with Photoshop, I guess. So it's not a thing that just happens like that. Maybe I can have my background lighter, and maybe these could be in the sky, a bit like this. That would make sense. Maybe it could be clouds in the background. Maybe not. Maybe this could be a orange thing. Because this is supposed to be a propaganda thing, so I guess I could fiddle around with this. I could give it like a orange, yellow, orange thing. I want, or maybe, oh, green. Green would be nice. Like this. Or, nah, maybe not. Maybe red. Oh, kind of reddish, reddish, red. A red thing like this. I'll see, maybe blue. For now, I'll leave it blue. So, now I'm gonna log this. I'm gonna unlock small flies. Here, I can. So, basically, my idea for the picture is like fly safe, fly in group. So I'm gonna copy this fly here, Control C. I'm gonna Control V it. So I'm gonna have a formation here. And maybe I can put like some EVE Online references in that. Like I'm probably gonna put like warp core tabs and modules, null modules from the game. I'm gonna have a bunch of flies around this here. We have your standard issue squadron of flies. So what I thought about is that you have a bunch of flies, and in the center there's gonna be a big fly, like a transport thing, or it could be a carrier. Like these, like here I have a formation, but I want to bring him back. I want to bring those three here in front, so I can select all the groups. All of those um, objects are in groups. So I'm gonna select here. If you hold shift, you can click, click, and click. Now you have those three selected, and when I move them, they all move at the same time. So you don't need to kind of move them all the way like you did. Um, Maybe they could be in warp, so that could be something, or maybe not. I don't know. Yeah, they could be in warp. And they could have like guns and turrets, and they could have different colors. They could have Amar symbols on their wings, or well, maybe I could do a little reference to my corporation, like the Slice logo here. I'll show you how to import images. So all of those, maybe I kind of want to recenter them like this here. Um, I'm gonna see if I'm gonna take a little break because I need to drink a bit. So I'll see you guys in a few. BRB. All right, guys, I'm back. So well, apparently my video looks okay. I know the sound is well. For now, the sound is quite low. My voice is it's quite low. I'll try to buff it in the during the editing part. I'll try to, or meh. Otherwise, it's just too bad. Sorry, guys. So. Yeah, so we were doing this EVE Online propaganda thing about Fly Safe. So I kind of want to have a lot of more space here because I'm gonna write text around here. So I'm gonna unlock background. I'm gonna zoom out, and I'm gonna fiddle it down with this here. So we can have, maybe I can have like a big picture here. There's gonna be a lot of more details around here. So I'm gonna show you how to import images. So um, so hold on here. Well, I haven't found a picture yet. I'm not sure what I want to add in this. So well, this would be my main image. This would be like a bunch of flies flying in a formation with a big fly in the middle. And like if you want to add text, here there's a mode, create and edit text objects. So all of those things are objects. So well, the first thing is this is in the background. Yeah, this could be in the background. Or maybe this could be like in another, yeah. So right now I'm in the background layer. So I'm gonna create a new layer, which is gonna be called text above current. Yes. Oh, okay. So here I have background, I have text, and then I'll have small flies. Small flies is all those flies here. I could call it just flies or base flies, because if I want to add pictures over them, well, it's after that. So just enter. Don't click away enter. so, because otherwise it's gonna cancel the thing. So this layer here, I want to have it above the other one. So I'm gonna click here to move it up. So now the text is above base slice, and those are above background. So here in text, I have this writing tool here. So you just create the zone that you want to write into, and then that's your zone. You might not see it, but here that's like the size that I'm gonna write. So this is very small. Here and then a new bar just popped up. So you can have your own police. You can have your font size. You can have a normal italic bold and everything. You can have su superscript, subscript. If you're familiar with DeviantArt, you kind of know like those things. When you can write and you can edit text and stuff like that. So we really want this text to be a lot bigger. I could write the text and like I can write the text. Let's say hey, write this fly safe. Wait. Okay, so I'm gonna be in. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. That's a thing. If you just write like this, yeah, it just writes and so I'm gonna write here. Gonna write fly safe. So then I guess then you just click away. Then you have this text here. Since my so we went from there, then we clicked away and we went from there. So now this is an object. This is like I could have done the same thing with this tool, but it would have took me ages to do what I have. So now that I have hit this here, I can scale it up, or you can just change the font size. Whoa, what am I doing here? So that's what I was saying. When you're not using a layer, because this is in text here, right? Yeah, this is in text. This is like when I'm in this mode, I'm creating and editing stuff from this. I'm creating in this layer, but I can still play around with other layers. Well, actually, if I click it and if it's not locked, it's gonna change here. So I'm gonna do Control Z, and I don't want to fiddle around with the other ones, so I'm gonna lock them. So now I can just drag. So I can only drag within objects that are within the layers that aren't locked. So fly safe, I can place it here. I might want to change the font, maybe maybe I don't know. It would be great if I would have a even line font. That probably exists at some place somewhere. I might want to cut the video at some point and do a little research, and if I want to add images and everything, I'll fit around. But that's an object, so you can change the color. Like, can you? Oh wait, that's the fill. I have my text here. So here, yeah, I can. Let's say. So right now it's black. It's black, so it has no light. It has no. That's saturation, right? So no saturation, no light. It has full opacity, and well, it's red. The taint, if we could call it like that, is red. But it's red. I could put it whatever color I want. But since there's no light, well, it's gonna stay black. So the moment I add a bit of light, now it's kind of greenish. And it's kind of interesting because like this is like the color, but as you change this, like the actual color is going to be here in saturation. And when it's kind of interesting because it's dynamic, because when you, let's say, click this, then all the other layers changes. So when I fiddle around with this, the other, not this one, but the others around it changes. Like this thing here changes. You can see that the layer here changes color. I think this is a lot more interesting than the wheel like this that a lot of people use, or like there's a lot of thing around here, but this one is my favorite because it's really clear that if I want a specific color somewhere, I want this thing, I want to add saturation, I want to have lighting, so I can make it darker or lighter, and I can have the alpha. Um, this is alpha, the alpha, the alpha channel, I think. Yeah, it's the opacity basically. So here my flight safe to make it contrast with the background. Gonna make it not yellow, of course, but could make it. Um, I could leave it black or kind of reddish. What is this? Is this looking good? I don't really know. Kind of gives me a headache if nah. Maybe a green like this, kind of a military green, something. Fly safe. Okay, fly safe, and then I'm gonna write and if you don't want to use this tool again, well, you can just copy and paste. If you want to keep the same size, so you can copy paste the text, then you use this thing, and then you can select this thing and you can write something else in it. So here, I'm gonna say travel in. Is it really that big? Travel in group. Whoa. In group. In group. Damn it. Alright, so this is a bit too big, and so I'm gonna rescale it. Make sure when you do that this thing is locked, otherwise you're gonna do this. It might just, maybe you want that. Maybe you want to give it like you can fiddle around with that. So I'm gonna lock it. So traveling group. Maybe the I on N should be a minor case. Yeah, I'm gonna leave it like that. So fly safe traveling group. So that's the other layer. So that's kind of done. I don't think I'm gonna fiddle around with it. I might find on the internet a even line font. So that could be great. So I'm not gonna fiddle around with this thing. Not right now. I'm gonna lock it and I'm gonna make it invincible. So now I have the background, I have the base flies. I'm gonna add a new layer. It's gonna be called maybe because in EVE Online, when the only moment when you are in a formation kind of is when you're warping from one pin to another when you do a fleet warp. So we could say that those flies are warping. So I'm gonna call it this one warp effect. So what basically it does, I'm gonna show you a picture real quick what it does. EVE Online warp effect. I'm gonna find a picture around here. I have image. That's a good one. So I hope you guys can see it. Can you guys see it? Yes, you can. Where is it now? It's here. Okay. So you guys can see this thing here. Can I? Yeah, I can zoom it. I can make it kind of full screen. I cannot. But you can see that's the ship. Well, right now this guy is going through a planet, but you can really see like the warp around it. I'm gonna try to find something else, like this here. That's cool. That's a good one. So you can see that you have your ship, and there's like you can see the stars, you can see the sun of the solar system, but there's kind of like fluid, and when you warp, there's like this fluid thing around you. So I might want to try to imitate that. Might do. Maybe I'm not skilled enough to do that. Hopefully I will be. So okay. So I'm gonna rescale this thing. I'm gonna put this thing here. Okay, so warp effect. So basically what I'm gonna do is like waves. I'm gonna leave I have to find back online warp effect images. Yeah. So me, I'm gonna keep on my side of the screen, of my second screen. I'm gonna keep the image for I'm gonna keep like here the image for reference. So what I'm gonna do, so here that this is when we'll be using the um, the opacity thing. So you'll see here that I'm gonna draw outside of my background, and that's kind of wanted. So basically, it's like waves that comes like this. So I'm gonna create the base shape of it. So so I'm gonna give it a fill. Yeah, I'm gonna give it a fill. Uh, I'm not. I'm gonna drop those, I think, or the thing is kind of bluish. So I might want to give it a bit of a, yeah, not that kind of makes sense. It's kind of blue. It's kind of a light blue thing. A bit more blue. Meh, it's kind of hard to tell. Yeah, this kind of color thing, and this is kind of a chibi drawing. So here I don't want stroke. So if you can notice around here, there's a little stroke. I'm gonna leave all of this thing here so I can see my encoder. You can see there's a small stroke. I don't want that, so I'm gonna remove it. So now there ain't more stroke here. So I'm gonna go back to fill. So if around, so what really matters to me, it's inside the picture. So what I'm gonna do here, I'm gonna fiddle with this. So now the thing is transparent. So when I move around it here, this thing I can make it longer by doing this, but this gonna scale the whole thing up. So I'm just gonna select those two nodes here, and I'm gonna make them longer. So that changes my shape. In the other, like when you do that, you change the nodes and the lines, but you don't like change like the position and the dimensions of it. So I'm gonna just have basic lines here. So I'm gonna copy paste like this, copy paste. So like that's a bit what it looks like. It's kind of pale, but it's kind of it's a fluid thing. That's when I zoom in the thing. Oh, I got a border in my background. That's not that doesn't matter much. Gonna do this here. Can you come on, come on? Oh well, whatever. Um, so now I'm gonna use this tool here. I'm gonna select. I'm gonna select this. Can I do that? Yeah. Okay, it's selected. So now that I've selected the thing, I can select this tool here, and I can here I'm on the line. So if I just hold, I can play around with it. I can basically what I'm doing is I'm creating there's like vector that comes out of this point, and there's a vector that comes out of the other node here, and I just like the program what it does, it changes that and it calculates a new line the based on what I'm doing. I'm changing those. It's kind of a shortcut thing. Um, so I can fiddle around with this a lot, but yeah, I guess I'm gonna leave it like that. So I'm gonna make a lot of curvy things. So I can make a first curve like this, but that's not gonna be enough. So I want like this curve to come back, and I want it to really fiddle around. So I'm gonna create from here and here new lines. Then from those lines, and I'm gonna create nodes. So from those lines, I'm gonna create nodes here, maybe new nodes here. So when I now grab this line, Well, you can see that now I bumped this one out, and these nodes are kind of, you can change, like if you take this one, it's, I think it's this one, so it behaves in a way that it kind of evens the thing around it. It evens it. So when I move this thing around it, it's gonna give it, you can see like ear and ear, it changes the curve as well. If you don't want that to happen, you just make the node, um, you just make a corner, so when you fiddle around, it doesn't change the other line. But in my case, I kind of want this because I kind of want to leave it to give it a nice curvy effect. So that's really what I'm aiming for here. So I can play around with those. So you can see that, and the thing is, it's not clear. It's kind of a wobbly thing. You know, the warp effect. It's a wobbly thing. It might not even look nice, but at least I'm trying. So shut up. Oh damn, yeah. Sometimes stuff happens like that. So you can select the node and play with those to kind of fiddle around a bit. So now that's a, yeah, that's kind of wobbly. That's kind of what we want to. So I'm gonna do this. So you can notice here this line is kind of long. So you can see how it affects the line. So it's a lot of practice and trial and errors and learning how the thing behaves. And you can, if you have multiple of those nodes selected, well, not this. Can you select? Yeah, you can select like those nodes. You move them along. If you have only one, well, this one will move like this. Um, okay. So, well, I guess I could do the same with the other ones. Um, and yeah, don't worry if those gonna come out because in the end product, like the background will define what is being taken in consideration when I'm taking the final picture. But these things, if they get out the picture, they won't be in the picture. So if I remove those lines, I got a wobbly thing. Okay, that's decent. I could be very lazy and just kind of copy paste this thing around, but I'm gonna try to work a bit more. I'm gonna add nose here. I'm not doing a perfect job, but I mean, yeah, that's okay. That's okay. So I'm gonna do that here. I'm gonna grab this line. So you can see those lines that I created, those are hard lines because you can see that if I'm moving this thing around, it's not changing the rest. So if I want to have the wobbly things, I'm gonna select the nodes. I'm actually gonna select all the nodes. So they kind of change colors, and here I'm gonna change, I want this. So now when I change that, it changes the thing around it. I'm gonna have this here, this like that. Well, yeah, my warp is kind of weird. It's wobbly, but it's not going crazy either. And here, well, because here they kind of don't go in the same way, so it looks ugly. So those nodes do as well. Nah, those nodes can be alright like this. So I'm gonna play around with this. If I just, yeah, I mean, we'll get it. We'll get what it means. I guess. Guess we'll do. Maybe not. But yeah, I'm not drawing something pretty. I'm just drawing something. There's a difference. But the thing is kind of a tunnel, but it's kind of hard to represent, like in this kind of perspective. Of those will be curvy things. And you can see that this is like a square, but the points are different. And you can have those auto smooth nodes. So this is quite interesting too. you can play around with it a lot. So here, like if I think this line is too thick, I can select those nodes here, this guy and this guy, and I can only move. Well, I haven't selected the last one here, so I can just move those guys around. Yeah, oh, that would be cool. Like you see here, this line is straight and it goes wobbly when it gets close to the fly. So maybe you could try to do this as well here. So because here the nodes are here, so I'm gonna do the same thing here. Gonna zoom out a bit. So I'm gonna Control Z. I'm gonna select those nodes here. Select here. Gonna move those like this a bit. That makes sense. So, and I'm gonna try to do the same thing here. So I'm gonna add nodes like from here and then here and maybe in the middle. If you hear a footstep, that's alright. It's standard issue living in a house with other people. So I'm gonna make this line thinner. I'm gonna play around with this and this. I'm gonna do this and that. Now you kind of see it looks ugly here. There's a thing with the nodes sometimes. So because the way, I don't know why. Well, I kind of do know. Because oh yeah, these are too long. Sometimes like the thing won't look great. Like this guy, the more longer it is, and more of this, like this, there's a thing here. So it kind of changes the way that it looks. So if you want it rounder, it's really play around with it and learn how it behaves. Now this is not what I wanted here. I wanted a node like this. I guess this looks great. Here it's, yeah, no, I like the fact that like those, like the warp thing would kind of be smooth, and then when it come closer to the flies, it kind of, now it's being kind of like bleh, and then after that it goes like phew, it's over. So that I'm not gonna do a lot more than that. I can add a few stars in the background. So I'm gonna come back here. Okay, now I can do this. So I'm gonna leave it like this. I'm gonna lock it. If you had the text, fly safe, traveling group. But I don't want this. I want to add stars in the background. So I'm gonna add here. I'm gonna add stars. Actually, stars will go underneath base flies. So stars, they will be over the background but underneath the flies. So stars here. So if I look at everything, I have the warp, the fly safe. So those guys are off. I could turn off these guys. I could do that, yeah. Now if I want to create stars, I could use this tool here. This I can create polygons. So here I can have regular polygons, or I can have stars, and I can have numbers of corners here. Can I say like, yeah, now he's not gonna like it. I'm gonna do it anyway. Oh, that's interesting. Ooh, look at that. So basically this is a polygon with 900 corners. Thank you, maths. Maybe the encoder looks weird, but no, that's kind of cool. Because like normally you're gonna put like 6 stars, and then you're gonna have, look, mommy, a star, wow, woohoo. Might not keep this thing, but it's really cool that you can really have a big number of stars and have like this. This is like a circle, but if you look closer, like there's a lot of spikes around here. I can see it clearly on my side. And this kind of like, there's kind of wobbly thing here. That's the, well, I guess that's the way that the computers do it. We won't need those unfortunately, but I don't think I will use them. Those are kind of like big. There's like a lot of corners, and maybe the computer won't like it much. So I'm gonna, and there's a lot of, oh, that's funny. Yeah, you can randomize the thing. So let's say if I have 7 corners, I can, if you wanna make, yeah, I've seen a tutorial like in My Little Pony. If you don't make like glowing magical effect, it's kind of like a blobby thing around it. So he was using something like this. He was rounding his shapes, and he was having randomize here, like a 2. So when you make, whoa, okay, that's yeah, that's a thing now. Um, Randomize, I'm gonna put it to, I don't know, like the ratio, zero point 0.5, 0.5 here. So if I, okay, yeah, maybe rounded is a bit too high. I'm gonna put it to 0.5 as well. If I have this, yeah, this is weird. It wasn't, maybe 7 corners is a bit. Let's say 3. You kind of have triangle thing. Here, I'm gonna lower these numbers here. 0.1. Okay, I can change it here. I can change it here. Rounded 0.1. So, like, if that's 0, it's gonna give me a triangle, but it's randomized. So, if I put 0, I have a, whoop, not this guy. Here, I have a triangle, but I can randomize a thing. I guess, whoa, okay. You can randomize it. So maybe you can add a bunch of corners, then you round it a bit, not too much. Or maybe you can get rid of some, and then you randomize it a bit, and you can play with that too. Yeah. So you can have kind of like gooey things. You can fiddle around a lot with that. With me, it's gonna be 0. Rounded, it's gonna be 0. I want stars. Maybe I don't think. Maybe I just want to have little spots in the, or I want to have what I really wanted to do is have 4 corner stars. So yeah, so that's kind of what I wanted. So now this I won't see it much, so I'm gonna make it a bit transparent, but I'm gonna make it white. And maybe a lot more transparent actually. Maybe a lot smaller as well. So I'm just gonna put a bunch of them on the screen. So one here, then pop, 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 Control V. Copy paste is like the best thing in the world. So yeah, that looks like stars, right? So good. I'm gonna lock them. So now with the flies, with the warp effect, and with the text. This is actually starting to look great. And what I thought I would do, I could add like trails behind the flies, but it doesn't. The trails, it doesn't happen during the warp, so that's why I did wanted to have him. So you can see that I have the background, and the stars are over the background, and the flies are over this. The warp effect is over all of that, and then there's the text popping out at the end. So what I could do, I'm gonna cut it here. I'm gonna do some research, maybe trying to find some fonts for the text, and maybe I'm gonna find modules, uh, modules icons to put on the flies and everything. All right, guys. So yeah, I'm back. I'll be back, found guys. Indeed a font. So now we'll change the font. So we'll change the font here. I mean, maybe we'll change the color because of the font. We'll unlock this thing so we can select it. Then we're gonna go in this tab here, and the thing is called, have I seen Linux? here, Linux. Maybe it's not the same thing, but I've downloaded an here Eve Alpha Fly Safe. It's a that's cool. It kind of changes the thing around, but nah, it's cool. I think I would do something like that. So see here, wait, what I mean. I don't know. Yeah, I might want to keep it like this. I'm gonna lock it and I'm gonna make it a bit smaller. Gonna put it there, fly safe, and here I'm gonna change it as well. Here, if I'm gonna select it because it's not gonna select it for this guy. Oh, I need to select the text because now I'm writing with it, but I'm not using it. So here, Eve Alpha travel in group. So I'm gonna make it a bit smaller. I'm gonna do something with like this. So since it's like that, if you look at the Eve Online logo, not warp effect, damn it. Eve Online logo. Here you go. If you look at the logo that I'm gonna show up here, the logo is black. It's usually black, or it's white against a black background. So it's never colorful. Well, like I guess here it got something nice with it. But you kind of see the pattern. That's kind of old. I think that's an old pattern for the Eve. That's old kind of Caldera here. Curious to us, Genete. Yeah. So what I'm gonna do is that since that's a thing and I want to kind of respect that, I'm gonna change here the font, the color font. Gonna here. I've rebooted the program to let it see the font. Oh, guys, if you want to have your own fonts, well, do a Google search and well, let's say font for this thing, and if it has it, well, it brings you to the website. You download the package, you extract it, and then you go to your settings. You go to your Windows settings. You come here. I am having 8 here. It's okay. So you can, and well, this is kind of normal for all Windows things. So here you have fonts. So here you have all your fonts. If you want to add some, so basically when you're gonna unzip the extracted file, you're gonna extract the thing. You're gonna have a file which is a font file. And this guy, what I've did is I came like in my documents. So you just kind of open this thing here. You come local disk, Windows, and there's it fonts. So you just drag. So let's say you have another. Let's say you have another window here. So let's say this is it. Well, I just drag and copy and slide it inside it. I'm not gonna do that because it doesn't make sense, but that's how I did it, and well, it's working, I guess. So I'm gonna change this to black here and to black here. Fly safe, travel in group. Here we go. So if I zoom a bit more, yeah, that's decent. So that would be the final product. So, well, you would notice it's Eve because of the texts, and yeah. Well, I did my best. I'm not really good at it, and oh, you know what I could do? That there's a thing. If you want to do gradients, this program is kind of good at it. So I'm gonna show you here. This thing is just not working. Or whatever. I'm gonna go to background. I'm gonna select the background, and here you have a bunch of things. So that's no color, add color. Damn it. I'm gonna take my blue. This is a gradient. So, well, it adds a gradient here. Um, but if you want to fiddle around with it, you're gonna use this tool here, and then you can see you got like, so you can see like how it shapes. So basically, it's gonna start from here and it's gonna go down there, and you can edit this a lot then, because basically this is like your main color, and this is the same color here. Have you noticed? Look at this thing here. When I click to this one, it drops the opacity. So this one is just the same color as this one. It's just transparent. So it creates this gradient. So what you could do, you could make it opaque. Now you got nothing, but you change the color, and now you got something awesome. And so you can have whatever kind of color you want. So you can have this just like this. I fiddle around like 3 seconds. Well, it looks cooler, and this only applies, though this only applies on the image that you have. If you have a group, I think it doesn't work, or nah, it doesn't work because the color is different. So but once you have this, you can now, because now you can see that I don't have selected the box. I've selected this node, and this node has a color. This node has a color. But if I click on this, on the shape again, now I have the gradient here. And this thing, I can go and edit it. Can I double click it? There's a way to do that. I know there's a way to do that. Is it this? Edit gradient. Cool. So you select edit. Wait, what? Is there something that popped somewhere that I haven't seen? What? No, 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 that's not what I want. Come on, guys. That's the name. That's the gradient. Create a duplicate. Edit. No, that's not doing it. As I said, the thing changed. So, oh, can I click this and do... no. Can I come here? Why are you not working right now? I cannot right click it. Can add blur. Oh, you can add blur. Look at this. Now this is my cube. I've added a lot of blur. Yeah, my computer is kind of fiddling with it a lot. Okay. Blur. Blur be 0%. Okay. Now my computer is kind of like, nope, 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 nope. Oh, okay. There's this thing here. Oh, maybe because I remember back in the days, like if it was 10 years ago, um, what they would do with that, you could click it and there would be a small window that pops out, tells you what happens and everything. So now I guess that you can select this gradient here. Is that it? Or, oh yeah, you click this, you click it, you edit, and then now this appears. New on, okay, so you can, because here, that's create linear gradients, so that's from one point to another, but you can also create a radial one. So you can move, well, it doesn't appear much, okay. Oh no, that's if you want to create one. But let's say if I want to do this, here you can see that now the gradient is radial, so you can play with this here and the other one, but I'm not gonna do that. I want to change the gradient itself. Can I? Oh, okay, that's okay. They've made it, because I remember it was different when I first did it. It wasn't working like this. So here they've created a gradient. Basically, the software is generating a lot of like points. So now I've just created one. So this one I can change its color of him. So I can do something like put it green and put it there. So if you want to have a rainbow, that's how you do it. So basically I'm gonna have red. Here I can have yellow. Yeah, I'm gonna have yellow here this guy is green, so he's gonna come here. I'm gonna create here a pale blue one here. I'm gonna create here that's gonna be the blue one, and this guy here is gonna be the purple one. So here I have the rainbow, but even line it's not that it, they don't do rainbows in even line. So, but that's something you can do. So you can create. Okay, that's new. That's interesting because I remember it was a small kind of window, and you would need to create. It was kind of annoying, but I really like what they did with it here. So but that's still working because there was like a small window, and you would do stuff in it. So that's great. I'm not gonna put this one yellowish. I could put this one, not this kind of yellow. Yeah, not even line is kind of darker than this. I could play around. I would fiddle around with this in here. I could have a kind of a. No, that's more. That's Caldera space kind of thing. Oh, I could have like Caldera. Yeah, because this color here, that's kind of like the color of the Caldera space. It's kind of a gray like this. Then I could have, or maybe I could have it like this, like this. I don't really know right now, but I'm fiddling around. I'm having fun. So I guess that could be my picture, fly safe. Or maybe I'm gonna try a last thing. I'm gonna so that's good. Okay. So yeah, this gradient that I did here. So I'm gonna log this guy. I'm gonna unlock the text. I want to see what it looks like in white. Fly safe, travel in groups. In white. Nah, I think I preferred it in black here. Yeah, okay. So that's cool. I'm gonna remove, I'm gonna lock this. So I'm gonna show you the old thing again. I cannot play with that. Okay, so I'm gonna um, hide everything. So we have our background. It's just a square. Actually, the background. What I'm gonna do with it? I'm gonna stroke paint. If I select it, I don't want I don't want stroke paint here. Air fill, it's okay. The fill is great. Okay, so we have this. Then, well, I've added the flies, but there's the stars. Then there's the base flies. Then there's a warp effect, and then there's the text. And remember what I said about those lines? That they don't really matter? I'll show you now. So, because this now, I've saved the thing, yeah, that's a thing you want to save, but when you save it, it's not a picture that you save. It's SVG, scalable vector graphic. It's not specific to Inkscape, but it's well, it's a vector thing. It's a vector. So basically, when I have this SVG, I'm gonna show you the picture. I'm gonna show you the file. You go in pictures. I create Inkscape SVG. So like here, this is Evenline Fly Safe 1. This is the file of. This is because this is not only this is a scalable vector graph. I'm gonna save my thing here. So now this is saved. So that's if I'm using this, I can with this. This is that thing. So I have the information about what's going on in the layers. So I have info about the layers. So it's a bigger file than an actual picture. So I have the layers. I have the scale of the thing. So basically, this picture, this this vector thing. What's good with SVGs is that you can since all of those lines, all of those shapes and lines are not drawn. They are they are kind of they are like mathematical lines and kind of curves. So this line here will never lose resolution because it's not defined by a number of pixels, but by a formula, a mathematical formula that makes all those fancy lines. So you can make this picture bigger. This one here, yes, because that's a SVG. But we're not going to use that because an SVG is kind of big, and let's say if I want to post it on DeviantArt, it's not going to work like that. So what I'm going to do right now, I'm going to select this. I'm just going to select the background. Then I'm going to go here, and I'm going to do export PNG image. Oh, that's a new thing. Okay, so it just pops out as a, yeah, the thing changed a lot. So I'm gonna try this. So export as, I want to find a place in Inkscape. I'm gonna create new folder. So this is gonna be PNGs, and those are scalable vector graphics. So in PNGs, the thing will be called because now it's rectangle because I've selected this thing. It's gonna be, I'm gonna try it. Fly Safe 1. So I've saved. So while I decided where the thing would go, I've not exported it yet. Hide all except selected. In the export image, hide all objects except those that are selected. So I've selected this thing. Um, so it's gonna just show what's pops in this image. I think I'm gonna export it, and we'll see what it gives me. So it's exported. So now I come here. I have, here it is. Here it is, guys. So that's my picture. This is a picture, and you can see this one is pixel based. This one is not a vector one. This is a PNG, and PNG it's basically a grid of pixels with colors in them. So that's my picture. That's what I did. It looks nice. It might not be super even line related, but here it is. The thing looks great, I think. And well, I'm not I did that under an hour, maybe an hour it took me, and I would have talked a lot. I would have worked a lot faster if I would just done the thing by myself. But I did it in quite a short time. You can spend a lot of time in this and filling around with details and making really something great. I'm not a graphical artist, and this is why I love Inkscape. It's because it allows me to make perfect shapes and make perfect lines and to refiddle around like the shapes. And so when I do a stroke, it's not permanent. Like when you draw with a pencil, if you want to change the thing, you need to erase and do it again. With this, I don't need to erase. I just need to fiddle around with the nodes, fiddle around with the angles of my things, and I can just make it look nice. So that's about it. That's the picture, guys. That's it, guys. So, well, as always, fly safe.